against son, son against father. You get out of the way. Thanks. Hey everyone, it's Kiersten, and I finally feel like good enough to make a video. So I'm gonna make a video. The last couple of days have been a little bit anxiety ridden, and I'm sure I'll make a video kind of explaining that a little bit more, but today I thought I'd do something kind of laid back, just like a story time video. Something that happened to me in 2012, and it's a pretty funny story, but it's also kind of scary. And it's about the time that I got appendicitis, like 4 days before my birthday. So actually, let's take a look. Today's the 20th, my birthday's on the 26th, so it would have been around this time actually, in 2012, so. In the summer of 2012, David and I were dating. We had been for some time at that point, and he was getting ready to move up to Ohio. So we were having like one last big blowout weekend, like of dates, and like just hanging out with like people that he was friends with, and kind of getting around to our friends, and like making sure that like we're seeing everyone that he like wants to see before we go. Saturday night we decide, okay, we're gonna go to dinner and we're gonna have a movie with one of his really good friends that he's been friends with since like elementary school. So we go to dinner, we have a lot of like fun. I did not drink because I was the one driving, and we were just like being like really responsible and stuff, and then we drove over to the movie theater. I knew this was gonna go off. Drove to the movie theater, met his friend John there, and then we went in to see Batman. Now, it was the third Batman, the Batman Dark Knight Rises with Bane and Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, whatever. Anyways, we'll elaborate on that later. So we get there, we go to the movie. I save the seats, David and John go and get popcorn and soda. I'm still pretty full, so I'm just drinking my soda and we're good. So we're getting into the movie and we're kind of off to the side because we got there a little late. Just kind of like in one of the wings on our own. So they were like making jokes and like chit-chatting and stuff, and I was like low-key checking my phone because I like the movies, but they're like forever long, right? So about halfway through the movie, I start kind of cramping, and it's the end of the month. I'm thinking maybe it's just my lady time, maybe I got a fart building, you never know. These things happen, I'm a human being, so okay, whatever. I keep drinking my soda, I'm totally fine, like no big deal. Whatevs. So we get done with the movie and we go home, and at this point I'm like, I kind of have to go to the bathroom, but I don't want to do it in public because I'm afraid of what could come out of me. I didn't feel like I had to poop, but I might have had to poop. You know, surprises happen. So I was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. I'll just wait and we'll go to David's house. It's a long way back to my house anyway. His dad wanted to know how the movie was. So they stand out there, John and David, for 15 fucking minutes talking about nothing, about how they want to go out later on that evening and hang out, and I'm like, cool, whatever, I don't care, I need to leave, I need to go home. And I was like, do whatever you gotta do, like, you don't need my permission to like hang out with your friends. And so he goes, okay, well, I'll text you after I drop her off at home, blah, blah, blah. So we were gonna go to his house, talk with his dad for a little bit, because at this point it was very late, probably like 11:30 or 12, so his parents were already in bed. But his dad had gotten up when we arrived so that he could talk about the movie for a minute. So I go into the bathroom and I'm like peeing, and I'm like, well, I'm not farting, I'm not pooping, okay, maybe I just really had to pee. So, all right, I take a pee. So I go into the bathroom and I pee, and I come back out and his dad's already back upstairs in bed, and I'm like, okay, no big deal, like totally just gonna chill. And he's like, well, I wanna sit here and I wanna watch TV for a little bit and cuddle before I go and hang out with my friends. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So we get on the couch, and like the cramping like progressively gets worse and worse to the point where it's like making me nauseous. And I'm like, ooh, okay, I need to go home. So I was like, babe, I really love this special time that we're having together, but I feel like I might die. Can you please take me home? And he's like, yeah, sure, we'll go home. So he takes me home, and we're literally like just turning out of his neighborhood onto the street to get to my house. And like, I'm crying, like I'm bawling in pain. Now, let's preface this with a small story. I was very dramatic in my younger years. My mom never took us to the hospital, never did anything like that for our sickness, because I'm dramatic. I'm quite dramatic, and I'm okay with that. But David also like hears these stories from my mom about how dramatic I can be, and so he's like, I'm sure you're fine, I'm sure it's just your period, like you're probably just cramping. And like rather than be disgusted with his chauvinistic like mindset. I was just like, hopefully you're right. Like, hopefully this goes away and I can just take an Advil and be whatever. So we get to my house and I just like walk past like my whole family because for some reason everyone's still awake. And I'm like, what the fuck are all you people doing awake right now? It's like 11:30, 12. There's like a 2-year-old or a 1-year-old running around. And my sister, who's like 15, still up. And, you know, I'm like, okay, maybe it's fine. It's a Saturday night. Maybe my parents just got back in late. And I'm like, whatever. So I like walk past all of them and go downstairs. And I'm like laying in my bed, like bawling. And David's like WebMDing in the bed behind me. And he's like, oh, you know, I'm like scrolling through all the stuff that it could be. My mom comes downstairs and she's like, what the fuck? You didn't even say hello. You didn't even tell us how the movie was. What the fuck? And I was like, ugh. And she was like, ooh, what's wrong with her? And like, I think at first she thought like David and I were like in a fight and I was just crying and she was like gonna come down and be nosy. But that wasn't the case. The case was I was in severe pain. So I was like, I hurt. And she goes, okay, well, let's ask him. I remember she's eating a fucking ice cream cone. And she's like, did you poop? Have you farted? Did you drink? What did you have to eat? Are you on your period? And I was like, no to all these questions. Like, I didn't drink. I'm not shitting myself. I'm normal bowel movements. It's totally fine. And David's like, well, I'm looking up her symptoms online. She's either got appendicitis or she's pregnant. And I was like, I'm not fucking pregnant. Like, that's my immediate thought. And I was like, I'm not fucking pregnant. And so my mom was like, okay, we're going to the hospital. And like that right there like scared the shit out of me because my mom is never like quick to hop on that pony. My sister broke her arm and my dad didn't take her to the like ER or anything like that. He just brought her back to my mom's the next day. And like my sister's arm like swelled up and she still just scheduled an appointment for later on that day and took her to the doctor instead of taking her to the ER. Like my mom's not the kind to jump on that pony. So like she's like, okay, we're going to the hospital. And my heart like immediately like fell into my asshole basically. So my sister is with me and David in my car because my family, the rest of my family is not gonna fit, A, and B, they have to get some stuff ready to go so they can meet us at the hospital. We get in the car and we're like halfway there and I'm like, Jade, get in my purse. My insurance cards are in there. Like you're gonna need to fill out the paperwork because I, at this point, cannot let go of my side because if I release the pressure, the pain intensifies by like 3-fold. So we get to the hospital and my sister is the exact opposite of me. She's super calm, doesn't let anything like faze her unless it's like super high, like emotional. So she's like filling out my paperwork and like asking me questions and like I answer them. And if David knows the answer, he'll answer them. Because like I said, we've been really good friends at this point for years and we've been dating for like 8 months at this point, I think. So he knew a pretty good amount about me. And so we were just like answering the questions and the ladies like bring me back to the room and I was like, my family's gonna be here, like can you let them know where I'm gonna be when they get here? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So like at this point it's probably like 12:30 and we're like all in the room like doing what we do and my family gets there and they've already hooked me up on IVs, like they got me on morphine, the pain is being managed at this point and I am fucked up, like to the point where I cannot stop asking different people to do things for me. For instance, my family is only allowed in the room like 2 or 3 at a time. And at this point, my grandmother had showed up. So they were like cycling the baby, they were cycling my sister, they were cycling, you know, my parents and stuff like that. But David was like staying with me the whole time. He's the person that I wanted there with me. The rest of my family can fuck off. Just kidding, love you guys. So my sister would come in and like, I was like, yo, can you please Google what bees in the trap means? She was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, Nicki Minaj, Google it. Like, tell me what it means. Do me a fave. Solid. Whatever. And she goes, okay. And she like reads me the explanation. I still have no idea what it means, by the way. I was that fucked up. So then like they cycle my mom back into the room. I'm like, yo, Mom, can you please Google what bees in the trap means right now? And she's like, okay. And David's in the fucking corner laughing. I can hear him snickering. And I remember I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to learn here. You know, like being 100% sincere. And so they cycle it out, my grandma comes in, I was like, Mimi, can you please Google what the fuck bees in the trap means? She goes, I don't know how to do that on my phone. So I'm like trying to get everyone to do this, and finally David stops me, he's like, she's asked 3 people to do this already, don't do it. So then I'm fucking with the nurses, and I'm like, yo, it's the same 2 nurses, by the way. We're in a very small suburb, in a hospital, there's no influx of traffic. I think I'm the only person in the ER at this point. It's not as intense as living in a big city. So for all of you that live in a big city, there was no one else in the ER. So there was only 2 nurses that were cycling through and then like a couple of orderlies. So every time somebody would come in, these are the same 2 or 3 people that I've been dealing with the entire evening. I'm like, yo, Anne Hathaway did an amazing job as Catwoman. Like, I'm talking Anne Hathaway did an amazing job as Catwoman. I wasn't ready, but she did it. And I like said the exact same like script to everybody that came in. And it was just like, David couldn't stop laughing. My grandma's like losing her balls. And I'm like, whatever, y'all can fight me, like fight me. So they come in, they come back and they're like, well, your white blood sounds like not up or whatever. My white blood, so they're like, your white blood cell count isn't up, so I can't like verify that it is appendicitis. Like, that's the area like that you're holding or that you came in holding, like that's the area that it would be in, but like you're not showing like any, you know, physical symptoms of it. So we have to go in and do like an MRI or something like that. They take a picture of my body through my body. So I was like, whatever. So they go and they give me the MRI and I have to like stand up and I'm like I'm trying to pose during it and they're like, stop moving, just stand there. And they bring me back and they're like, well, your appendix is inflamed, like it's swelled up a little bit. And I was like, I don't know what that means, I don't know what it means. They're like, well, we have to wait for the attending surgeon to get here to figure out if he wants to do this now or in the morning. And I was like, don't appendix burst? Like, don't they do that when they get mad? And they're like, yes, so that's why we have to wait. So he probably shows up around 1:30 probably. Yeah, like 1:30. And he's like, well, blah, 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 this. And he's like prodding me. And he can, like I said, the pain is being managed, so I can't really feel what he's doing other than the pressure. So he's like poking me. Now this motherfucking guy only has half of these fingers, right? Of one hand, they're like this, right? And he's going to do surgery on me. And I, at this point, am so whacked out that I'm just like, totally faith in him. Totally, I have your faith in you. Faith. And so he's like, well, we could do this tomorrow. We could schedule it for 7 a.m. if you'd like. We'd have to keep you on the medication till then, and then we'll end up holding you for another 24 hours. Or we can just do it now. And I was like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, well, I'm already here. And I was like, let's do it now. I was like, wait, I don't want to be in the hospital for 24 fucking hours. That sounds terrible. I hate hospitals. They're like, okay, well, we'll get you prepped for surgery. I'll meet you back there in a half an hour. So my surgery's scheduled for like 2 o'clock at this point, and I'm like, let's do it. Do it. So we get back there, and like David's like obviously like a little perturbed. He's really unsure of like me and the pain levels that I was at. He's very concerned, which is wonderful because that's what boyfriends are supposed to act like. They're supposed to be very concerned. They're supposed to be very like worrisome about when you're not feeling all right. And I could tell my mom was having a little bit of a struggle with it. Because like I said, I've been in the hospital before, but it was never like a life-threatening, like, oh my God, like something's wrong with you. I remember going to the back and I was like, oh, this is a really big operating theater. Not. And they were like laughing at my jokes because like I was obviously off my fucking rocker at this point. And I was just like, this is the smallest operating theater I've ever seen. What do you do? Operate on teddy bears? Like just saying dumb shit. And I can only remember like clips of it, but I just remember this older gentleman, and his name was like Dan or Don or something like that. He was gonna be the guy that was putting the mask on me, the anesthesiologist, I think. He could have been. I don't know. So he's like laughing at me because obviously I'm trying to be funny but not making any sense. And he's like, okay, well, we're gonna put the mask on and then I'm gonna have you count backwards from 10. And like it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm already ready to be asleep. And so he puts this mask on and I inhale real big. I remember going, sleep. And he's like, okay, let's count backwards from 10. And I just remember I rolled over and I looked down and I was like, no, good night, Don. Or Dan, whatever his name was. And I just like literally just closed my eyes and fell asleep. And that was it. That's all I remember from like pre-surgery. So Dan Don did his job very well. So then I remember, there weren't any complications or anything like that. So I wake up at 7 o'clock and it's only my mom there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where did my boyfriend go? She's like, well, when you came out of surgery, your breathing in apparatuses were making this kind of exhaling noise. And your father and your boyfriend could not stop making fart noises. And then those fart noises turned into farts, and then I was really scared your dad shit himself, so I sent them home. And I was like, that's just great. You guys left me here with my mom. And so then she's like, oh, don't worry, once they wake up, I'm gonna go home and take a shower, and then David will be here. And I was like, all right, whatever. So then they show up like 9 or so, and David's like, oh yeah, I'll take care of her, like, no worries. So my parents leave, and like literally like 15 minutes later, David's parents walk in the door. Now, I'm gonna preface this with a story, or just a statement. My parents have never met David's parents at this point. They do not know each other, they don't know what each other looks like. It is not a thing that we had discussed yet because we had only been together for 6 or 7 months, 7 or 8 months at this point. So it was not something that I was like ready to do at this moment when I'm in a hospital bed naked underneath a gown, right? I look at David and I was like, your parents are here. He was like, well, yeah, obviously I told them that you were in the hospital. I was like, they're gonna be here at the same time that my parents are gonna be here. He was like, probably, yeah. And I was like, are you ready for that? He was like, everyone can hear you whispering. And I was not ready for it. So this was not only the time that I got appendicitis for my appendectomy, but I also got to introduce my boyfriend's family to my family whilst naked under a gown in a hospital bed. So that was fun. But everything turned out for the best. They did it laparoscopically, so I only had 3 incisions on my little tummy. They're like this big, one above my belly button, one over here, like on this side of my abdomen, and then like one along the middle of my panty line. And then I went home and I recovered for a couple of days, and then I moved David to Ohio on my 21st birthday. So yeah, that was an experience I never wish to do again. Luckily, you only have 1 appendix and they don't grow back, so well, they shouldn't grow back. But yeah, that's how the story of how I got appendicitis. So moral here, be smart, listen to your body. If it doesn't like what you're doing, stop. Go somewhere and find out what's wrong. I'm fucking terrified now of getting something randomly wrong with me and not knowing what's going on. So if you've had your appendix out, let me know. And any other problems that you've had, let me know too. Also, one last thought before I leave you here is I've been talking about my pop sockets in my descriptions for like probably a week now, because I ordered them. I was watching Jenna Marbles' like new video and I am obsessed with her. I love everything that she does. So she put out some of these pop sockets and I bought 2 of them because Kermit kind of looks like my dog. These are super cool and they have like, this is the Galaxy one with Marble and Kermit on it, and then I've got one Kermit in a hoodie, and they also have one of Marble in a hoodie. Now you can customize these however you want. You can make the black part here any color as well as the base any color. For instance, on this one, I made this bungee part black, and then the back board is peach, because David likes colors. So when he gets his new case, he's gonna have this one. And then, so these are 15 each. However, I have a $2 off link in my description. And then you can also get this, which you just stick it in your car and it just like peels on the gas. You put it on the dash and your phone literally just clips into it. Like, how much more do you need? So this is only $10, these are 15, and then you'll get $2 off with my code below. So if you guys are interested in those, they're super duper handy. I literally haven't regretted it yet, and I love it so much. So if you guys are interested, check it out. But yeah, these are super cool, and like if you just push and then it goes to be flat, and then you just pull it back up, and it has 2 levels. This is just like a stand level, and then like this, and then ta-da! So it's super awesome. I love mine. This video is not sponsored by them, but they gave me a link, and then they'll give you a discount too. So I figured push them out while they're here. Now I think these are limited edition, so if you want Jenna's, you need to go and get some, but they have a shit ton of other ones that aren't just Jenna Marbles. So if you're in it to win it, go ahead, check them out. Pop sockets, the link is below, and yeah, okay, bye.